Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of Cedarfield. I hope all is well with you. This is November 17th at 3 o'clock. A little live chat here. Probably won't go more than 60 minutes. We do have a brief, abbreviated agenda, and those of you that are watching this live chat tonight in the comfort of your living room across the world, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to some information about Cedarfield. First, just talk a little bit about our COVID-19 dashboard. While I consider the dashboard green at this point, we do have one active case in the cottages on the lane. Thankfully, that resident is doing well, and any and all persons that were in and around this person over the last couple of days is also doing well. So we are trending in the right direction and heading out of this one little minor situation. So I don't, at this point, believe that this one situation is causing a different color in our dashboard. So keep these residents or this resident in your thought and prayers, and we'll get through this next little speed bump. As it relates to our COVID-19 plans and protocols, we haven't changed our Cedarfield Forward plan in quite some time now, which I think is a good news. CMS meaning the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services did come out with a couple of rulings last night, and as an organization, we will be looking at those new rulings and seeing how they may or may not apply to our current plan. So we'll be doing that in the next couple days, and we'll have some updates for residents next week. Actually, next week is Thanksgiving week, so we will not have a live chat next week. We'll have one the following week. So more news in 2 weeks about those protocols. So I think that's about it for COVID-19. I did want to touch on probably the elephant in the room and around the community about much talked about beautician services around Cedarfield. So let's tackle that elephant. And first, just going to start out by saying I am a son of a beautician. My mom was a beautician. She owned her own salon in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So I not only grew up around going to the salon with my mother, and actually volunteering in the salon many hours of my childhood. But I was a recipient of my mom taking care of a lot of people in our own home, Monday, Tuesday, every day of the week, between 5 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock, there would be somebody in our home after dinner where my mom, after a hard day's work at the shop, would come home and take care of people in our own home. And so truly, I hope most of you know that if anyone really cares about beautician services, it's me, because it was a big part of my childhood. And so I know the energy that exists on this campus when we have a beautician or two leave us, because it's really a relationship lost. And so I get the energy, I understand it, but I do want to talk a little bit about 5 or 6 facts about this current energy around Cedarfield that may be misinterpreted or widely understood or not even known at all. So fact number 1, when Kathy left us, her company was called Hair Waves. Her husband wanted to fold the organization, and so they did that. They folded the organization. One of their petitions, Tracy, who many of you probably know, and or are receiving services from currently, decided to develop a company and incorporate it under another name named Hairwaves 2. And so she approached Cedarfield management, myself and Florence, and she said, I would love to entertain taking on the contract for beautician services. And Florence and I were very honest with the current provider, Tracy, and said, we really want to do we want to be diligent with this search, and we really want to do a national search. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind entertaining a month-to-month contract with us, and you could be part of this national search, we would love for you to join the national search. That is fact number one, and that's the truth. That the current provider was part of the search, this national search. So we sent out what we call an RFP, request for proposal, and we had 2 additional organizations submit a proposal to us along with our current provider, Hairwaves 2, which Tracy owns. So we had 3 organizations provide a proposal, of which we decided, let's just have all 3 pitch their proposal for the future of what they believe salon services would be at Cedarfield. So it was fair and balanced. We invited all 3 of those organizations in, including our current provider, to provide a almost 60 to 90 minute proposal with us. Resident voice was, so this is fact number 3. Resident voice was represented in these interviews. It wasn't a management decision. So to dismay a rumor, or maybe fact number 4 here, the current provider that this group chose is not a personal friend of Michael's. I've been in this business for 25 years, and I have contacts all over the country. I've worked in the Pennsylvania market, Texas market, Kansas market, Chicago market, and the Florida market. I have colleagues in many different business lines all over the country, including beautician services. It just so happens that the current provider that we did select was at another community that I managed, but I do not have a personal relationship with the current owner of this company. I've never been to the person's home. I've never even been to Massachusetts, where the home base is of this organization. And so that's fact number 4. I did mention that resident voice was heard. We did form a committee that included residents and team members that were part of this selection process. Fact number 6, that this committee of residents and team members voted on those 3 proposals, and the vote was, it was a confidential vote. We didn't go around the horn. We all put our selection in a hat, and the vote was kind of confidential, and the vote was unanimous. It was a unanimous vote for the current provider, which now we are promoting. And so we're very fortunate that Tracy and Pat have been with us. They were given a fair chance to join the organization that this committee chose, and they have chosen not to for their own personal reasons. And we're really excited I know many residents aren't excited because of a lot of rumor or hurtful things that they have heard along the way in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I know I'm excited. I'm grateful that Tracy and Pat have been here for the many years that they have. I'm grateful for the time that they have served in this interim period. But I just wanted the residents to know that it was fair, it was balanced, it was professional, we kept the whole search at a high bar. And so if anybody has any other questions about the process, please feel free to come down and talk with myself or Matt or Florence. We'd be happy to talk to you about facts, not the gossip and all the innuendos that have surfaced around the community. And I'm really excited for the residents of Resident Salon Services to take us into the future. And I hope at some point through your healing process, or able to forgive and forget and let go of what's been happening over the last month, I hope the residents will join me in giving a nice warm welcome in December for our new provider that will take us into the future. They have a national footprint, they have a great reputation, and a very professional, compliant, customer service-based approach to providing salon services. So, I'm going to shift to healthcare. Matt, you want to talk a little bit about healthcare? We have some great news to share about health services, assisted living, and memory support.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Michael said, my name is Matt Dameron. I serve as the Associate Executive Director here at Cedarfield, and I have three things for you. We have had a very exciting 2 weeks in health services, and these three things came from that. The first thing is Lavender Lane, our one of our healthcare households, has officially moved into the household building. As of last Monday, November 8th, yes, thank you. The crowd roars, yes. Katie Zolkowski, who's the household leader, and George Lawson, who is our clinical leader, and their team, we transitioned 20 residents in one day. They ate breakfast in one location and then ate dinner in their new home. We had a tremendous amount of planning that went into this, many different departments with housekeeping and dining and maintenance, our nursing team. So many people helped out with that over a year of planning to make all of that happen in one day and make it as smooth as possible for the residents. So we can now officially say at Cedarfield that we are operating a healthcare household in a new household building. So that is a major accomplishment, not only for Cedarfield, but Pinnacle Living, and then just this market in general, the Richmond market. So everyone is doing very well, transitioned well. We believe that the residents and families had a really good experience, and they were part of it with us. So happy that happened, and now we can keep on moving down that process and go on to our next move. This is my second thing. The very next day, we received an unexpected visit from the Virginia Department of Health for our licensure survey in our healthcare center. So every 2 years, the Virginia Department of Health comes in and performs an unannounced licensure inspection survey of our healthcare center. So they look at all of our policies, our procedures, our practices. They observe medication passes. They interview. They choose kind of randomly not only team members, but residents and family members as well. They start digging down into electronic medical records just to ensure that we are meeting all of the state regulations, all of the rules that have been put in place to ensure that communities like ourselves are operating at a high level. So that happened the day after we moved 20 of those residents that they were inspecting. So that kind of caught us off guard, but we were deficiency free. So they were not able, thank you. The inspectors were very impressed, not only with the physical community itself and our brand new household building. They loved that and the services that we're going to be providing there. But they were able to look through all of our, like I said, policies, procedures, documentation, and give us the big stamp of approval with absolutely no deficiencies, which is pretty unheard of, especially in the day and age that we live in. And this particular survey, everyone's behind because of COVID. They were a year late. So they looked over the last 3 years through all of that documentation since the last time that they were here. So the fact that we received a deficiency-free survey over the last 3 years and through a global pandemic, I could not be prouder of the team that we have and the hard work that they've done. The nursing team, everyone has done an incredible job, and I really appreciate them. So it was that was a very stressful week, but it ended well in both those accounts. The last piece of news that I have is another exciting one, and that is our CNA, our Certified Nursing Assistant school partnership. So over the last month or so, we've had a couple of different groups in here working with us. A group from J. Sargent Reynolds Community College, they are doing, those CNAs that go to school there are coming here twice a week to do their clinicals with us so that we can help train them. And then we also have a group of 3 students through the Fresh Start School that are here on campus down in our clubhouse. They spent 3 weeks in a classroom setting and are now spending this whole week in our healthcare center, our healthcare households, to finish out their CNA license. So it's great. We have that partnership. We're going to have more students to choose from that will hopefully come and work for us. We have our eye on quite a few of them right now. But the even bigger news is over the summer, we were working with this Fresh Start program that's currently conducting a small class down in the clubhouse, and they were partnering with the Virginia Community College system. So J. Sargent Reynolds and John Tyler. There are quite a few grants through the Commonwealth of Virginia to help CNAs specifically pay for school. So there is free money out there where if a person wants to be a CNA, go into healthcare, they can essentially have all of their schooling paid for. We've been working out some details with this and with the kind of the 3 different companies all put together. And just last week we got the news that we are approved, and it is going to happen, and it is going to start on November 29th. So November 29th, we will have another group of CNAs here that will be having their classroom time down in the clubhouse, and then come and do their clinical time with us. And for those students, it is completely free. They are going through that program. It's amazing to get that certification and not have to pay for that. So this program that we're working with and the community college has been approved for 50 CNAs to go through this program. So more than likely we'll have about 20 students here in just another week or 2 that are working for us. And not only is it great for them, gives them personal growth opportunities and go into that new career field, but it also gives us at Cedarfield a chance to kind of offer those new team members employment with us and fill some of the vacancies that we have. So I cannot be more excited about that, and our team loves working with the different schools and the students. So look forward to some more exciting news there, and helping us out with some of the vacancies that we have in that department. So that is it. I'm going to stop there. Thank you all very much.
Wonderful news. Going back 3 years in the middle of a global pandemic, and we're deficiency-free. It's just wonderful. It's a lot of hard work. Everyone should be proud of that designation. A couple of things by the numbers. Those of you that are interested in sales and marketing, occupancy numbers, independent living is 93%, assisted living is 80%. Right now, memory support is 100%, and healthcare is at 85%. Speaking of numbers, another probably elephant around the community, there is some energy around Cedar Field about management needing to be more transparent about what our monthly service fee increases go towards. And aside from just the April presentation, or 30 days before that's implemented at the beginning of our fiscal year, just a lot of questions, a lot of misinformation out there about what does for-profit, non-for-profit mean, where does our monthly service fee increase go to, and so I am pledging to be more transparent. We typically don't have James Green here at the live chat on Wednesdays every week, but I think we're going to start having James come. James is a wonderful presenter, very authentic, knows the numbers better than anybody at the community, and we're going to come up with a communication plan for these live chats so that he can come and present and talk the numbers with residents, so that you all have a comfort level of where your precious dollar is going to. I know we at Cedar Field, the residents pay a lot of money. The monthly service fee is expensive. We know that, and we want all the residents to feel good about what you pay every month and the value of your dollar. Not just the tangible stuff, but the intangibles of what Cedar Field represents behind that monthly service fee. So we're going to get a little bit more transparent, or a lot more, I should say, and inviting James to come, and hopefully that will help dismiss or settle down a lot of unnecessary rumor around the community. Navigation chats. We started navigation chats 2 weeks ago. Those additional live chats in my office with 6 particular topics in mind. We first started with Ann Hopper and the Wellness Clinic. Really appreciate everyone's feedback. Great feedback of what went well, what should we change, and the content, your impression of the content and the delivery of it. So we've learned lessons. Tomorrow is our second navigation chat. Hope you all have marked on your calendar to tune in to another navigation chat at 1:30 tomorrow. Matt Dameron is going to lead this one with Jennifer, who's the administrator of Affirmation or the home health company that we have to part of our Pinnacle Living Lakewood family of services now. And they're going to go through much like a dialogue that Ann and I had on the first one, just to talk through the questions, the frequently asked questions that are being presented to us about what home health services is, and what's the value add for the resident, how can it help you age successfully at Cedar Field. So tune in to 1:30 tomorrow, and look forward to that information. Marketing update, we're still looking for a director of sales and an additional sales counselor. We thought we had some final candidates on Monday, and looks like the group, again, another collaborative group deciding on which direction we should take. Looks like we're going to keep the search going, and so we're probably a couple more weeks out from hiring some folks. On the human resources front, given the fact that we're in a workforce pandemic, just wanted to highlight a couple of things. Number one, I've been talking a little bit about individual development plans here for a while, And there are 72 team members, 72 team members that are currently either have a plan or working to finalize a plan. What is an individual development plan? Thank you, Sharon, for asking that question. An individual development plan is it's a roadmap. I have one. I've had one for the last 15 years. It's a roadmap that talks about my professional mission statement, competencies that I believe are my strengths and opportunities to work on. It talks about on-the-job experiences that I want to be exposed to be a better leader. And then the last piece to it is where does the individual want to go? Do you want to be the best CNA? Do you want to be the best housekeeper? I know I'm always looking for my replacement. Many of you probably are happy about that. But we're always looking for our successor. I might not be here tomorrow. Who knows? God might take me tomorrow. We're always looking for succession planning. And so 72 people at Cedarfield have such a plan. They have a roadmap for their career ladder or to be the best at the vocation that they're currently in. I'm pretty proud of that number, and I think you all should be proud of that number as well, because it fulfills a philosophy that we have here at Cedarfield, that we help people learn and grow and become all that they want to become. A couple other things in human resources. 2 weeks ago, we put a peak nomination form in every resident's mailbox. That nomination form, I have not received one. Actually one, take that back.
No, I never got one.
Mrs. Pakula didn't get one.
I didn't either.
Do I hear three? Okay, maybe we need to do that again. So I hear a couple residents here say we never got one. We're gonna put a peak nomination form in every resident's mailbox and cubby box. It's the beginning of writing down a story of what you have received as a resident of exceptional service from a team member. A team member that has gone above and beyond our mission, vision, and values. You write out their story, submit that story to Human Resources, and then that story gets put into a peak process where in this fellowship hall we could be honoring team members publicly with some recognition, a certificate. There's a little of a monetary reward for it, but the main point of it is to help people feel good about what they're doing here at Cedarfield. So we'll get another copy for you over the next couple of months as you see team members working and they're going above and beyond, going that extra mile. Write down the story and let's honor them. And last thing for me about human resources, because I always get this question, what are we doing to attract good people to Cedarfield in this very difficult recruitment field we're in now, the market? So one other thing we're trying to do, have you ever heard the term job fair? Have you ever gone to a job fair? Maybe a job fair down at the convention center, or maybe you've come to a job fair at a current employer. Historically, Cedarfield has done job fairs right here at Cedarfield. And they haven't really produced a lot. It hasn't been very fruitful for us. The harvest has really never been that great. So we're kind of reimagining job fairs, and we're taking job fairs on the road. We are starting to have job fairs in restaurants, in the market beyond the walls of Cedarfield. We're going to take our story and we're going to go on social media. We're going to blitz the market and tell people for different trades to come to certain locations at certain hours, offer people dinner while they're there. We're going to educate them about maybe some CEUs that they could get while they're there, and or interview people right on the spot. And so there's a couple of hospitals kind of doing this now, and we're going to capitalize on this approach and see if it bears any fruit. So just want residents to know that when you hear us at a job fair at one of the restaurants around the Short Pump Mall. That's what we're doing. We're taking that concept on the road, and we're going to go to the neighborhoods, so to speak, so people don't have to travel far after a long day's work, and more importantly, we're close by to them to get access to that many more candidates. So, okay, I'll be back in the next 5 minutes. For now, Sharon Brown, our housekeeping director, has 3 very important announcements.
I did.
Or maybe one. I lost track.
Good evening. Okay, he done gave me another one. Okay. Good evening. I put a little bit late putting out the flyers for the Falls Fling Service Clean for the month of November for the entire second floor, for the first floor C wing and second floor D wing. So I will be extending the opportunity to have those service addition 2 weeks until December the 10th. Sorry for the inconvenience for you all. Also, please don't forget to put in your work order to have your carpets clean. So we're doing this campaign until December the 13th. And make sure you call Glover to put in your work order so we can go ahead and put you on schedule. And one more thing, just I hope you all have a nice Thanksgiving. And thank you for what you helping me out doing that serve you better. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sharon. A little bit more good news to share. The turkeys are in. We have 30 20-pound turkeys. The turkeys have arrived. I know there's been a lot of angst. I got an email last night. Michael, are we serving turkey lunch meat next week for our dinner? The turkeys have arrived. So I never thought I'd say that at a town hall meeting, but I guess there's a first for everything. The turkeys have arrived. 30 turkeys. I guess there's a turkey shortage, as there is any supply in the supply chain mess that we're in. But they have arrived. We'll be serving real turkey meat next Thursday. So good news. Couple other just quick announcements. The Board of Elections wanted me to thank everyone. We were a voting site a couple weeks ago, and the Board of Elections did not take that lightly. They really took it seriously. They took their protocol seriously. They know that for some residents at Cedarfield, it caused some energy and some angst because we had the general public coming through our very home, but they wanted to extend a very heartfelt thank you to all of you for opening up our home so that we could all take advantage of something that we should all be very proud about in the United States. Not that many people around the world get to do what we do twice a year. The tunnel leak, we finally did receive notice that we have a subcontractor on board now to help with that. In their view, a very minor warranty item, and we're working through that subcontractor to work out a timeline of when they can get into the property and fix that leak, along with some other civil engineering things in and around the wellness building. Little minor good news on the cellular phone crisis. Verizon did come last week. They came to do a little bit of a study. They left the property. They were here for about an hour and a half. They left the property wanting to do one additional analysis, and that is to bring in one of their engineers, a more technical engineer that can analyze the buildings themselves and see if there's anything that they can do with their equipment to help with the signal, the cellular signal around the community. So they've committed to do that. They've also committed to provide me a price, a capital price of what it would take for Cedarfield. As I've been explaining to folks, 5 years ago, they gave us a $250,000 price tag that I can spend, and the market can take advantage of a couple antennas on our building. So they're going to provide us with that price as well, which they said it's probably double that from 5 years ago. But the good news is they came out. We're just looking for little quick wins, and they at least finally they came out. So we know who the right people are to contact, and we'll keep them on the hook with their commitments. We also have an electrician getting under contract, not under contract yet, but we have at least an electrician identified to look at the D-wing generator and analyze the load within that generator to see if we can make emergency power available in D-wing through our existing generator, or do we need to create another generator close by to the building. So that project is, I know it seems slow, but that's just the state that we're in operating with the construction world. But the good news is we have somebody identified. So small wins, big successes. So a couple of questions and answers came in. First one is, do we still need to wear the masks although everyone at the community has been fully vaccinated? The answer is yes. I have not had an opportunity to talk with the Virginia Department of Health. I did have a meeting scheduled with them last week, but they canceled that meeting on me. And so hopefully we're going to have to go through this at least through Thanksgiving, and then I'll have news at this next live chat about the mask wearing. Second question came in, when are the dumpsters going to be removed from the 3 prime parking spaces at Parkview entrance? And those dumpsters are there per the county through what I believe is the duration of renovating the memory support second floor area, which is going to carry us through April. So I'll get clarification on that, but I'm through April of next year, those dumpsters will be in those spots. Any other questions that come in? No other questions have come in. I'm going to turn the floor over to Trish Carter for some spiritual well-being. As she's walking up here, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you for living here. Without the residents living here, Trish and myself and Eleanor and 287 other people cannot live out our vocation in life. We truly believe that, I know I do, and I know I can speak for many, that it's a privilege to work here. It's an honor to serve the residents of Cedarfield. Without Cedarfield here, without you living here, we cannot live out our vocation and being in and around people 65 years of age and better. So a heartfelt thank you to all of you for choosing this community. Even with all the gossip that goes around and the opinions, it's actually the strength of community, the sense of community where we are afforded the opportunity to speak our mind. We all come from very accomplished backgrounds, and the diversity of thought and opinion is actually a strength of Cedarfield. I hope you don't, if there's any resident that thinks it's a negative, I believe quite the contrary. And so happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate each and every one of you contributing to the greater good and the greater cause of our community.
Good afternoon, Cedarfield. I am Trish Carter, and it is my absolute honor to serve Cedarfield as chaplain manager. The reading I'm going to do today is sort of an unusual choice, but I've been drawn to it since I found it, and it was speaking so strongly to me that I felt the need to share it, and I am not sure for whom this message will really resonate, but I would appreciate it if you would let me know if this message speaks to you. It's a blessing that has been written for the parents of one who has committed a crime. And I think we can extend that to, sometimes as parents, it's so easy for us to boast about the accomplishments of our children, but when something goes wrong, when perhaps there is shame or blame, it leaves us in in a little bit of a glitch for how do we communicate. So this really spoke to me, and I don't know if you have been in a situation like this or know someone who has, but listen to these words. No one else can see beauty in his darkened life now. His image has closed like a shadow. When people look at him, he has become the mirror of the damage he has done. But he is yours, and you have different eyes that hold his yesterdays. In pictures no one else remembers. Waiting for him to be born, not knowing who he would be, the moments of his childhood, first steps, first words, smiles and cries, and all the big thresholds of his journey since. He is yours in a new way. No words could ever tell, and you can see through the stranger this deed has made him, and still see the countenance of your son. Despite all the disappointment and shame, may you find in your belonging with him a kind place where your spirit will find rest. May new words come alive between you to build small bridges of understanding. May the serenity lead you beyond guilt and blame to find that bright field of the heart where he can come to feel your love until it heals whatever darkness drove him, and he can see what it is he has done and seek forgiveness and bring healing. May this dark door open a path that brightens constantly with new promise. What beautiful words for those who are hurting.